Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we're taking a look at the track War Machine by the American rock band Dance Gavin Dance. This is the second track to be released by the group this year, following on from The Ghost of Billy Royalton, a song that was dedicated to their previous bassist Tim Feerick, who did pass away in 2022. In that same year, they also released Jackpot Juicer, their most recent album, which despite its large length and a heavy number of tracks on there, it was a very impressive album. Despite the machine that this band have become in putting out music year after year after year, they never seem to drop the ball on quality and continue to push themselves forward, experiment with their sound and really change things up whilst keeping that core Dance Gavin Dance sound, but always trying something new that's always very refreshing to the listener. So will this latest track see them continue on their warpath, or will they get stuck on a landmine? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds. Okay, already we can really see a lot of reflectiveness really coming through on this track. The band have been through a tough time with the death of Tim Feerick. It really affected them very heavily mentally, and they're now using that as a way to sing about the sorrow and the trauma and the tragedy that they have been through. And it's not only been that, there have been other allegations made against members of the group that has caused quite a lot of difficulty. And you can see this song touching from the start from John Mess on the idea of invulnerability, feeling invincible when that's actually not true, risking your position when you feel like you're invincible. Kid with Intuition says, I think this ship is sinkable. No matter how invincible you may feel, that is a point where you are expendable almost, and you can kind of meet your demise almost. So really touching on this idea that people feel like they can't be stopped, but actually they can. Give ourselves permission to be pitiful and miserable. So they're actually talking here about how they are giving themselves permission to grieve and do that through their music, use it as a cathartic release. They don't quite feel like they're over the recent deaths, the recent trauma, and they want to use that as a way to power their music forward. Who wanted bad, glad, sad, mad, dad, Chad? That's a tongue twister waiting to happen. I can fake being vulnerable. So I really like this. It's something that's touched on quite a lot in more music. Now is the idea of just coming across like you're okay, but kind of having those mental breaks. And we see a lot more bands really taking that time away to recover from the difficulties they may be facing, but it's a much more accepted thing now, and it's certainly become something that a lot more bands are enveloping into their music and really reflecting on the idea that they want to stop fake being vulnerable. They want to be able to show their vulnerabilities and wear it on their sleeves. And then as we move into the chorus, we do see Tillian switching in from John Mess. Didn't want to have to sing about our tragedies. They didn't want to talk about these things, but they feel that they have to because they've been overwhelmingly consuming me. Great that Tillian's providing this in the chorus, because he's probably been the person that has been most affected by the recent things that have actually happened. I wanted to grow, I wanted to change, couldn't do it alone, trauma got in the way. So really reflecting on the fact they've become they are like a band of brothers. They've really helped each other get through these tragedies they've been going through, because they've been held back by this trauma together, and they're working together to really find that release. And I really love that stifled silence by my own device, my skin suit I never wear. So this idea of maybe being disconnected from oneself, not feeling like you fit in your own skin, fit in your own body, and not being able to show your true colours because you're being held back by trauma. So really showing quite heavily just the reflectiveness in this track so far. Your judgment means nothing to me. I'd rather steal than borrow. Just in case I got Okay, we did see a lot going on in this track. We see the constant pace changes, really bringing in different members of the group, then layering them over the top of one another, really just showing all the typical elements that do make Dance Gavin Dance exactly the band that they are. And I love their management of three vocalists. For many bands, it would be difficult to give them the time and the spotlight, but they've really managed it so very well. And Andrew Wells coming in with the second verse, "Your judgment means nothing to me, I'd rather steal than borrow." So really touching on the idea of kind of this personal defiance, this independence, this ability to really repair yourself and move forward, not be held back by others and what other people say. So again, maybe like referencing to the accusations made against the band and certain members, things like that. And I love the line, "Filled all my cracks so I sleep restfully." The idea that when you suffer these traumas, these things, that it kind of breaks you apart, cracks showing your armor, and the idea of filling them in, repairing them so you continue to move yourself forward. So really just not holding yourself back, and it's their destiny to go on and produce music and kind of sell their message to the world. So they're really showing that, collecting more weaponry, collecting more stories and ideas for things they can throw into tracks. So I really like the way they're building that in and showing this development as well. Starting off with this idea that they're happy to sing about more sad things, but then they're showing that they are repairing themselves from the trauma over time, but still really showing how it's a heavily invested part of their music. Then as we move into the next pre-chorus, just showing, again, the three vocalists colliding together. "You're a piece of shit who doesn't care." So really touching on people that maybe don't fully understand what they're going through and kind of will throw negativity at them or just kind of try and pull them down or weigh them down. So really just touching on that as well. And also the idea of resorting to violence as well. "Endless violence is my only vice." The fact that they may have felt aggressive, they felt that was their best means for escaping the trauma that they did have. And it really shows the disparity as well between appearance and emotion. "I'm always grinning with my pearly whites at your blue eyes and long hair." So on the surface, someone can seem like they're absolutely fine, but underneath that emotion can be really boiling and bubbling and suffering from a lot of turmoil. Again, referencing to the idea of the skin suit. Yeah, certainly showing the band wearing their hearts on their sleeves with this track, really showing the reflectiveness of what they've been through, and we see that continued as we do move through the last pre-chorus. "Pure chaos finally made me bleed." That elements that really just got to the band eventually and really forced them to get to that point where they had to sort of fumble my bravado, been searching for serenity. They've had to take stock and really assess themselves and kind of find this different path to follow, and that's really, especially focusing on Tillian as well. He has, as I said before, he's gone through probably the most difficult of all of the members of the band, certainly in the public spotlight as well. And I like how we've all heard bones crack from the impact. So that moment where just the death maybe came from Tim Feerick and it just broke all the members. It just really did. And now I'm coming back to try and build a masterpiece. So they're repairing themselves from these tragedies. They're really looking to build a continually better Dance Gavin Dance, continue to put their music forward and really show what they're capable of. And just again referencing on the idea of their tragedies being overwhelming. So you can really see the focus on that damage that's been done, that reparation period where they've gradually fixed themselves and become much happier, and now they're able to put that into their music and continue to drive themselves forward. So certainly a great way that they actually do that in this track. And also you've got to touch on the music. When there's so much lyrical depth, it's kind of hard to really focus too much on it, but I love the way that you've got these very quick guitars just really just adding to this chaotic nature of this idea of this war machine, the emotions that the band have been going through, just really showing how chaotic things have been by by having these two guitars just firing on all cylinders pretty much throughout most of the track. But again, they're showing these pace changes to really convey that emotion, dipping into something slightly softer, something slightly funkier, then going into the breakdown where we've got something hard and heavy really coming at you. So really conveying all the emotions again that the band have gone through, whether it be sorrow, anger, or they've touched on violence as a vice. So that fits in really cleverly with the idea of the aggression that really comes out of John Mess in his vocal delivery. So I like many of the elements that have come through on this track. I think it's great to see them using what has been a tumultuous period as a period for really just reflecting and really using that now to power their music forward, because you can really see the strength that comes through in the lyrics on this track. So that will be everything for today's video. Certainly a very impressive showing again from the band. They certainly show no signs of slowing down. But as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. Do you find it's just that beautiful Dance Gavin Dance style that we know and love so much? Or do you feel it's a little bit lackluster? I would love to know your thoughts. Also, if you'd like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next Dojo analysis.